All new on the WHAS 1119, honoring Louisville's heroes.
There are people here who, when the gunfire goes off and we all run, you all turn and run toward it.
City leaders recognizing those who responded to the mass shooting at Old National Bank. As the Jeffersontown community honors the family of Officer Nick Wilt, shot as he ran toward the gunfire that day. Plus, the clock is ticking down for the UAW and the three big automakers to reach a deal where the negotiations stand tonight. And then it's off to the races.
I'm really just here to watch the horses race and hopefully win some money.
Churchill Downs welcomes racing back to the track for the September meet after a dozen horse deaths this spring. The emphasis on safety right now on the WHAS 1119. In less than an hour, up to 150,000 auto workers across the country may go on strike if their demands to the big three automakers are not met. That includes workers right here in Louisville. Thanks for joining us on the Night Team. I'm Connor Steffen. Doug has the night off. Members of the United Auto Workers Union are calling for higher wages and better benefits. ABC's Melissa Adon has the details ahead of the looming midnight deadline.
Tonight, the United Auto Workers Union preparing to strike the big three U.S. automotive companies.
Tonight, for the first time in our history, we will strike all three of the big three at once.
The UAW president remaining adamant in their fight, saying there still is no deal with Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis. Members want a 40% increase in wages and stronger benefits like cost of living adjustments, more paid time off, pensions, and increase in retiree pay.
Well, we want to bring back the American dream. We work hard, and it's time for us to get what we deserve. We just want our fair share, plain and simple.
Profits for the big three soaring $21 billion in the first 6 months of this year. ABC's Terry Moran asking Ford CEO about his own pay increase, something union members bring up often.
They're asking about CEO pay. You're the CEO, you made $20 million, and they say a 40% increase since the last contract. Why can't they get a 40% increase?
Well, I think, first of all, we are offering an incredible, unprecedented increase. But we can't even get any feedback from the UAW about what they want. All they want is for everyone to make $300,000. That's not sustainable. We'll go bankrupt if we do that.
Ford and GM offering a new 20% wage increase, just half of what the union is looking for. There are 10 states from Michigan to Texas with union plans for all three automakers that could see job losses if a strike happens, and it could have national impacts. Melissa Adon, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Neither of Louisville's Ford plants are among the initial planned strikes, but union leaders are preparing. They've designated 4 gates at the Louisville assembly plant for picketing, if necessary, along with 9 at the Kentucky truck plant. Leaders tell us 11,000 workers are prepared to strike, but workers we spoke with hope a deal happens soon.
Well, I hope it gets done soon so there's not an interruption of work, because that's an interruption in a lot of people's lives. Strike pay is what we need and what we get, but it's not enough. It's not enough on top of all the extra stresses of what we have to go through and all the pain that we have to put ourselves through.
The UAW and automakers have less than an hour to come together to make a deal happen. We will update you on air and online should a deal come through tonight. And new tonight, Louisville is honoring the first responders, the heroes who responded to the mass shooting at Old National Bank. In Jeffersontown, Officer Nicholas Wilt, who was shot outside the bank, served as the Grand Marshal at the Gaslight Festival Parade. Officer Wilt waving to the people who lined the streets to thank him for his service. He and his family led the parade, which kicks off a weekend of events for the festival. The president of Jeffersontown's Chamber of Commerce says this year's parade was extra special because of Officer Wilt's involvement.
We can't wait to see them. We want to show them our support and our love, and that the J-Town community has been and is behind them.
And thank God he's out of the hospital and he's with his family. And God bless him and his family.
Required the help of dozens of first responders, many of whom haven't publicly been recognized. That's something the city is looking to change, starting with a proclamation tonight during the Louisville Metro Council meeting.
Tonight, we reflect on those that have sacrificed in our city.
A day to honor our city's first responders.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
We sleep well at night because there are people like you all who answer the phone when all hell breaks loose.
For those on the front lines of an emergency, some days are better than others.
Every day it still sticks with me. I fight my own demons since April 10th.
At Old National Bank, color by saying on a video meeting that there's an active shooter inside the building.
I don't want to make this more confusing, but in some ways it feels like it happened years ago, and in some ways it feels like it happened yesterday.
The day a gunman opened fire inside Old National Bank, killing 5 and injuring 8 others, is one LMPD detective Jay Moss remembers well.
As we were walking towards the bank, shots rang out. I saw Officer Wilt at the top of the steps.
With the help of fellow officers threatened by a barrage of gunfire, he placed Officer Nick Wilt in a car, taking him to the hospital and ultimately saving his life.
That's what the doctors say. Yes.
You don't say that, though?
I'm a little, at this point in time, yes, I do. I didn't believe that at first. I was just doing what I hoped somebody would do for me.
So I've told them, you have to accept the recognition when it comes because they deserve it. But yeah, it does make them super uncomfortable because they're just very humble.
Detective Moss is one of the many frontline workers to respond that day. Emily David with MetroSafe was another.
I knew right away that the call was legitimate, that it wasn't a prank. My very first feeling was, oh no, not again.
War zone is what we pulled up. There was still shooting going on. You could smell the gun smoke, you could see it, you could hear it.
And still in the days since, countless more put on their uniform and run into harm's way.
We appreciate the people that you are, the people that you represent, and the person in you that gets up every day and puts on that uniform and proudly represent us.
In addition to support from the community, those we talked with tonight say they've also received help from fellow first responders to help process the tragedy. Tonight, we're learning new details about the traffic guard hit by a semi in the St. Denis neighborhood last week. In an update on their Facebook page, LMPD says Gertrude Schafflane lost part of her leg, but is adjusting to her new normal. LMPD says she is in extensive physical therapy daily and still has a long way to go. Schafflane has just celebrated 48 years as a traffic guard with LMPD. The driver who hit her and then left the scene has been arrested and is facing several charges. If you'd like to help Schafflane, we've got you linked up to the Metro Police Foundation fundraiser. That's WHAS11.com. And new tonight, racing returns to Churchill Downs, where safety is top of mind after a dozen horse deaths moved the end of the spring meet to Ellis Park. A recent report found no singular cause for the deaths. WHAS 11 night team's Taylor Woods and photojournalist Aspen Hester join us live from Churchill, where fans were excited to be back. Taylor.
Connor, tonight's races brought in fans from Louisville and across the country. They're happy to see live racing back at Churchill Downs, and they say there's nothing like the Churchill experience.
Horse racing has returned to Churchill Downs.
Oh, I'm ecstatic. I'm ready to win some money.
Horse racing fans from near and far are happy to see the stands full again after races temporarily moved to Ellis Park in June. The move coming after 12 horse deaths during the spring meet.
Once I heard the news, I was devastated.
A report released Tuesday from the Horse Racing Integrity and Safety Authority found no single cause for the deaths. It also found no red flags with Churchill Downs track.
I'm glad to see them come back because, they cut the meet short early last meet.
Tom Huckleback and his friends have been waiting for the start of the September meet. He has been looking at races on his phone and is happy to see live racing.
I've been coming over here most of my life, and there's nothing like Churchill Downs.
Same for Ted Carlisle and his friends who came to Churchill early to get their favorite spot next to the bar.
This track's one of the best, if not the best, in the whole United States I know of.
Carlisle says there is nothing like the Churchill experience.
I did the simulcasting, and don't get me wrong, if you want to bet, but live race is where it's at. I've been coming here since the late 70s.
This group of friends from St. Xavier High School also came to see what the hype was all about. They didn't have high hopes to win any money. They were just happy to be at the track together.
Sometimes you'll go a little too far, lose money, but it's just that you don't call it winning, it's called gambling for a reason.
And horse racing fans tell me that they're hoping that the horses and the jockeys have a safe racing year. Reporting live at Churchill Downs, Taylor Woods, WHAS11 Night Team on your side.
Taylor, thank you. Our focus team has been investigating the incident at Churchill Downs and spoke with trainers as racing returns to Louisville.
I never left Churchill. I stayed here all summer. If I had any concerns whatsoever, I would not run.
Horse trainer Neil Pessin says he's confident in the track and its safety, but as a result of the deaths, he and several others are on a new committee aimed at keeping the surfaces on the racetrack consistent. They hope it will improve overall safety in the sport. A downtown restaurant forced to shut down following a fire in the building late last night. Louisville Fire says the fire broke out in the 5-story building near 5th and West Market just before midnight. The first floor is Japanese restaurant called Osaka. The rest of the floors are vacant. A fire department spokesperson says one firefighter was injured after a brick wall collapsed. He was taken to the hospital for treatment but is expected to be okay. Traffic in the area may be diverted around the building for some time.
So we want to make sure that that structure doesn't fall on anybody. Traffic's going to be diverted for the foreseeable future. We don't know how long that's going to last, but with that structure being unstable, it's probably going to be that way for a while.
Arson is investigating the cause of the fire with some help from the ATF. And just into our newsroom, there will be no school for a Hardin County elementary school tomorrow because of concerns about construction work on the building. In a post on Facebook, the district says major work has been underway on the Woodland Elementary School heating and air conditioning systems. After an inspection late tonight on the work and its effect on structural aspects of the building, a structural engineer recommended there be no school tomorrow at Woodland Elementary. The district says this is out of an abundance of caution. All other schools will be in session tomorrow.